Okay, I am back. I am back. Come on in the room. I'll give it a moment. It was very important for me to make sure that you all could comment and so I could see your comments. Okay. Okay. So come on in the room. Thank you so much for joining me. Here we go. Here we go. Hello. How are you? Okay. All right. I'm going to give it a minute. Come on into the room. Come on in. Come on in. Come on in. We are live. I wanted to jump off and jump back on so I can see your comments. There we go. Yes. Feel free to leave a comment. Let me know where you are tuning in from. Definitely appreciate it. I'm going back to share the new video because we are on again. So make sure that you share this link as well because it is time to chat all about this. Okay. So I'm sharing it now. Because I definitely want us to chat about this movie. Okay, absolutely. All right, Live Life Free. I see you. Thank you for coming into the room. All right, I know we have some others. Just feel free to jump back in. I had popped out because I wanted to make sure that you could leave your comments. It's very important to me while we have this conversation. All right. So let me know where you are tuning in from, what state you are tuning in from. My name is Ashley. I am actually here in Cleveland, Ohio. So really excited just to be able to share just some thoughts about this and all of that. Really grateful that I was able to see the movie again. I cried. I was very emotional during the movie, all of that, but it was a good movie. If you are going to see it, I will give a warning and say that there is cursing in the movie, so I'll say that. I normally don't really watch programs or movies with cursing in it. It was definitely a good movie, but I definitely want to put that out there in case that is something that you watch for. So I do want to say that. Okay, so I guess I'll just go ahead and jump right in and get started. And then if you are catching this on the replay, you can definitely put hashtag replay. Okay, so I will say that. So again, my name is Ashley, and I am tuning in from Cleveland, Ohio. I'm really excited to be doing this live just to talk again about the Whitney Houston movie and just some lessons that I learned. So I will say this. I'm not related to them at all. I was not there. So I'm not really even commenting on their personal lives. I'm just commenting on different lessons that I took from the movie because, again, I'm not in their family. I don't know their personal lives. I was not there with any of them. So I definitely want to put that disclaimer out there. But I'm on here today to chat about the foundation of the home. So the foundation of the home and just how important it is for us to know that and to pay attention to that, really. Okay. So very important, especially in today's society. But again, because we are talking about the Whitney Houston movie, it is very clear and evident that the foundation of the home, it matters in every generation. It will be timeless that we need to focus on the foundation of the home because whenever there is chaos, whenever there is confusion, it puts cracks in the foundation, which can go on to lead to trauma bonding, lead to all sorts of dangerous behaviors, addictive behaviors, addictions, and all these other types of things. So I want to say that. So talking about the foundation of home and again sharing about some of the lessons that I've learned. So if you are here in the chat, let me know if you have seen the movie. So I want to know who else has seen it besides me. I went last week with my sister and we just had a sister day and we went together. But if you've seen it, make sure you go ahead and put that in the chat, okay? Because I want to know who else has seen it. All right. So let's go ahead and get into these lessons. So, the first lesson that I really want to touch on and hone in on is that what parents say to their child can empower your child, your teen, or it can break them. Okay. It can tear them down. So the words that you speak over your child or any adult, if you are in the mix of working with youth, the words that you say have power. I did a short earlier today where I was saying life and death is in the power of the tongue. Okay. And those who love to talk will eat the fruit thereof. Give me 1 minute because I need to get some water. Hold on 1 moment. Okay, sorry about that. I usually like to keep water by me. But again, life and death is in the power of the tongue. Okay. And so looking in the movie, there was this one scene where Whitney was in the elevator with both of her parents. And it was like both of them were just taking their turn jabbing at her, saying critical things to her about her appearance, how she looked. And then they were making comments towards each other. And one of the main things that I really honed in on was Whitney's response. And you can just see it was all in her face. She didn't say a word. She didn't have to. Her face said it all. You could very much and easily tell that she was broken down in that moment, almost to tears. And these were her parents that were picking her apart in the elevator. And then when the elevator door opened up, they all walked out of the elevator. Okay. And this was after they had their meeting with Clive Davis. So it's important, again, to recognize that what you say matters. She had just achieved a major accomplishment, and her own parents shut her down in the elevator. Words matter. And the things that you say to your youth, to your teen, becomes their voice. It becomes their thought pattern. It becomes what they think about themselves, or it can, positive or negative. So you really want to make sure that you are always affirming. Now, affirming does not mean standing for or approving bad behavior, but you should be one of the most affirming voices in your child's ear. Okay. And so that's so very important to recognize and realize this. So I wanted to start off with that. What it is you say, it definitely matters. Okay. It matters because, of course, she didn't say anything back to them, but that effect, that impact was very much there. Second lesson, arguing parents upset kids and teens. They can feel that conflict, and they learn what to accept, what behavior to accept, what words to accept and to deny based off of what they see in their home. Again, we're talking about the foundation of home here. That please share this because I know that this is so timely. Okay, it's a lot going on. I work with students, I work in schools, I've been working with youth and teens for years now, and it all starts in the home. The home is very much the foundation. Okay, and so again, going back to arguing parents, when you do that, and I'm not saying that there won't be any conflict, but again, going back to lessons from the movie. So in the movie, the parents, they were arguing, right? Cussing at one another, going in on one another. All their kids. So they had, Whitney, and she had two brothers. Whitney is sitting on the stairs in tears, just listening, taking it in as a teenager. Her brothers are in the room doing drugs, all that kind of stuff. Whitney sat there for a period of time, and then she went to join her brothers in the room and was doing drugs, proceeded to do drugs with them. Let that stick out to you and ring in your ear, okay? That matters. No child wants to hear that level of conflict, that unresolved conflict, right? And then look at what they were turning to. We see this happening each and every day. And again, it happens in every generation. Look at what's going on right now. That's something to pay attention to. That conflict can cause internal conflict for youth and teens. And it's very important that we recognize and that we understand this. So conflict management, it matters because your youth are listening, your kids, your teens are listening to how you handle conflict. And it can make them avoidant of it altogether where they don't want to be bothered, or it can encourage them to engage in healthy conflict. Conflict is just a difference of opinion or something like that. And an agreement needs to, come to the forefront. But it's how you do it. It's so very important. So that's the second lesson that I took from that. Okay. Next lesson I want to go over is that at our low points in life, whatever or whoever affirms you best wins. I'm going to say that again. At low points in our life, whatever or whoever affirms you best wins. So going to the movie, and I'm thinking about the part of the movie where I believe they were at the Soul Train Awards. And Whitney she was nominated for an award. The crowd was booing her, right? They were saying she wasn't, black enough or whatever was going on at that time, but they booed her. And she did not win the award. And you know who was sitting in front of her to affirm her? Bobby Brown. He was there to affirm her, and as you know, they ended up getting married, all of that went on in their relationship and their marriage. But here's the thing, that was a low point for her. And again, I just got through talking about some of the language that in the movie, okay, was used against her. Even in church, the language that was used against her, the language that was used in her home that brought her down, that discouraged her from her parents. So all it takes is one outside person. And if the person is negative, again, it's whoever affirms you in that lowest point in your life, that lowest moment. In that moment, it was Bobby Brown. And in that moment, she gave him her telephone number. Now, again, I wasn't there, so I don't know if that's factual. But again, it goes to show when there are cracks in your foundation, right? When there are different things going on, whoever or whatever affirms you more, which can be drugs, right? Affirms you better, make you feel better. It can be alcohol. It can be a toxic person. It can be a toxic relationship, right? But whoever is able to affirm you in that moment, in that low point, and help make you feel better, you're going to tend to turn that way. And we saw that in the movie. Okay. Again, I wasn't with them in their lives, so I'm just talking about the movie. All right. So here's the next lesson. Definitely make sure you share this because this is good. And listening to these lessons right here will help save an entire generation of youth and also some of the older generations who are so broken and are so hurting that they have turned to every single thing but God to feel good about themselves and their conditions. But I'm here to tell you that there is hope. So I definitely want to make that clear and make that known, okay? Because unfortunately, Whitney Houston lost her life, okay, to what she was dealing with. So, okay, so let's learn these lessons and let's adapt and make changes and adjustments, okay? So the next lesson here is this: you can love your family, you can love your parents and still have boundaries. Now, this is important because in the movie, right, Whitney Houston's dad helped her run the company. That he helped to manage her and make these different agreements. But at a certain point, all of that went awry. He was handing credit cards out to the secretaries and the other people that worked there, blowing her money, all of that in the movie, again, in the movie. So all of this is happening. Now, she trusted him because this is her father. And your parents are supposed to look out for you, protect you, right? Provide for you, be that safe place. Because again, we're talking about the foundation of home. But it ended up taking away from her. Now, again, this is her dad. So we're taught to respect our elders, to honor our parents. And I get that. And I'm with that. And I agree. It's actually a biblical principle. But the Bible also says, do not provoke your children to wrath. And also, it's not for the parents to abuse that type of relationship in any type of way because you are the parent. So he should not have been blowing her money, again, referring to the movie, and misusing it. and then turning their relationship, using their relationship, the father-daughter, father-child relationship against her because he was wrong in that. And it is okay to have boundaries when something is not working like that. Okay, you can no longer manage me. Okay, because the money, if this is not corrected, you can't manage me because the money is not right. If this is not replaced, you can no longer be my manager. And finding someone who can help you in your situation so you're not brought down so low. Okay. So boundaries are very important in families. And it's important to be able to clearly express them. Definitely do it in love. It's not your fault, and you can't help how other people take your boundaries. In the movie, at one point he had gotten really frustrated and upset and angry because a boundary was put in place. And guess what? That's okay, because you're not responsible for other people's emotions. But again, that's another lesson. Just because you are family or you're related, that does not mean that everything gets to go. It doesn't mean that every behavior is permitted or allowed. Because without healthy boundaries, that is how abuse occurs. Abuse in all forms: sexual abuse, physical abuse, mental, emotional abuse. It's where manipulation can come in. So it's very important to have healthy boundaries because they keep everyone safe. Okay, and it's important for everyone to honor them. So I just want to say that and make that very clear and very known, because that's an area that people really can tend to struggle in. And it's okay to have boundaries. You need them. And a lot of times families have a hard time in having them because no one has had them. And that's why that could be very much a contributing factor to the hurt and the pain that is seen in families. Okay, so I definitely want to share that. Next lesson, the love, and this one is so important and key, and I'm looking at my notes here. But love, it has to start at home. It has to start at home with your family and with your parents. And when it's not there, what you will see is a desperate and a rebellious search to ensure and to ensue that you have that love. So I'm gonna say this again as well. Love starts at home. It starts with the parents. And when it is not there, children will go on a search, a desperate and oftentimes rebellious search to find it, to secure it, to capture it, to hold on to this. We see this play out all the time. We see it play out in every generation. We see it play out now to where there are youth and adults who are finding love in all the wrong places. Why? Because love and that security is an essential and an initial need for humankind, for all humans. And the home is God's place, one of the places, right? Where you should be able to get it. And when it's not there, you see people in these crazy relationships. You can be telling them, hey, he's not good for you. Hey, she's not good for you. Going back to the movie, right? You see the different relationships that Whitney was in. And even at one point, when it came to Bobby Brown, again, talking about in the movie, you had Robin telling her, hey, he's not it. You know, he's this, that, and the other. You know, he's promiscuous, all these types of things. But in the movie, she found it as fun. He made her laugh, all of that. We'll talk about that in another point, okay? But again, when this does not exist in the home place, in the foundation, they're going to go find it. And a lot of times it's going to be wrong. It's going to be toxic. It's going to be unhealthy. You have children missing today, excuse me, because they're out looking for love. They're out looking for acceptance. They're out looking for identity. But that is something that's supposed to be found in God, identity, and that love, security in God and in the home with your parents, with your family. So just take a moment to think through your experiences and who you went to for love. And think about your family, think about your relatives, and think about all the generational curses that may exist in your family because of lack of love, because of arguing in the home, because of lack of security, maybe even because of poverty. And look at the dangerous places that can lead. The home must be a stable place and a place of love. Okay. So that's so necessary. It's so crucial. All right. So next up, Oh, yeah, this is good. So you hang out with what's in you. You hang out with what's in you. Okay. So when it comes to relationships, friendships, um, people you marry, people you date, it's about what's in you already. Is it unhealed trauma? Is it hurt? Okay. So again, going back to the movie, you saw where Whitney was in relationship with her assistant Robin. You saw where she was in a relationship with Bobby Brown. You saw that she had you know, doing different things with Tremaine Jackson, different things like that. But here's the thing, you have to ask yourself, what is in you that is attracting yourself to these different types of people or situations? Okay, this one, let this one really marinate and sit, because a lot of times you'll say, oh, they changed, oh, it wasn't like this. But I guarantee you, if you really sober up, it's very rare, it is so very rare that you were actually tricked and fooled. I'm just going to be so very honest and say that. Okay. It is very rare, because here's the thing, if you really take a step back and look at what was being presented to you, it was there back then. If you look at where you were at, if you're dealing with childhood trauma and hurt, you can pretty much guarantee if it's unhealed, you're going to end up in a toxic, unhealthy situation, relationship, marriage. You can pretty much guarantee it, because you're unhealed. You have all these cracks in your foundation and you're looking for love. Some people are looking for a house. Some people are looking for someone to be with. Someone is looking for a partner or something like that. So you really have to examine yourself and become healed, healthy, and whole before you even date, and definitely before you get married, because you will be with, again, what is in you. Going back to the movie, she married Bobby Brown. Okay. So we know what we saw on TV. So we don't know him in person, but we know what was presented to us on TV and in the media. We know that he was involved in drugs. We know that he was very promiscuous, all these different things. So you have to ask yourself, why would she want to be with someone like that anyway? Now she's saying it's fun, but it looked like attention. Again, I'm talking about the movie, not her, because I don't know her. I wasn't there. Looked like attention to me. It looked like a distraction to me. It looked like something to, turn, people's attention from her, and the allegations of her dealing with, being homosexual and things like that. But the thing is all of this was in her, period. All of it. It was in her in the movie. Okay. It's in you. You attract what is in you. You attract and marry for where you are at, spiritually, emotionally, mentally. You do it, if you recognize it or not. And again, that's why you need to be healed. Pursue that healing before you date, before you get into a relationship, and definitely before you get married, because it will just be automatic. You won't even recognize it. But as you take a step back and see, you'll look like, oh, this was a trauma bond. Oh, I was hurt and broken. They were hurt and broken. But imagine what could happen if you're able to track this and put a stop to it before it gets dangerous. Now, so many people actually blame Bobby Brown, right, for Whitney getting on drugs. But as of now, we all know she was doing drugs way before she met him. But here's the thing, when you have that trauma bonding, and again, you marry, you are around what's in you. Okay, that was just another similarity, something that they had in common, if you will. Okay, so again, you attract what's in you. You are around what's in you. So you have to know what battles, what things are in you, so you can be healed, so you can be healthy and whole, and so you can receive love in a healthy manner and marry and date and have friendships with healthy people. Because if not, all you're going to do is attract the brokenness that is within you over and over and over again. And that could be a cycle. That could be another generational curse. You all know that you can think about in your family. Well, I won't say every family, but Maybe someone you know, a family you know, where you see broken marriages, you see tons of divorces, you see domestic violence, you see promiscuity, you see all these different things that are occurring, that are unhealthy, that are occurring in families, occurring in your family, occurring in you. It's time for you to look and see what is going on and know that there is healing that is needed in that there is love needed in that there is the salvation and the deliverance of the Lord that's really needed in that. And it's possible. It's possible. It's just so many times these things are so generational, and they may show up a little bit different, a little bit mutated in the different generations, but the foundation is still cracked. That broken foundation is still the same. So it continues to invite these unhealthy patterns and addictions that are going on. Okay. So I want to say that it's very important. Okay. Because so many people are like, I just don't know what happened. This person changed. Okay. But what was going on in you that accepted them at that level? What is it that you didn't hear? What is it that you were missing? Now, I'm not saying this to blame you, right? But I'm saying we do have to look at ourselves, and we do have to look at what's being presented, because you also can have this personality of, oh, I'm a fixer. Oh, it'll get better. Oh, I can fix them. Oh, I have to accept them like this. I have to accept them as they are and love them with the love of God. You can love people and still not marry them or be in that close of a relationship with them, because the Bible also says, don't be deceived. Okay. Bad company corrupts good character. Okay. So you just have to understand and know, and not put these unhealthy rules and things on yourself in the name of love or in the name of God, because that's not God. And God is not going to have you marry someone that is not of him, that's not intact and aligned with him and his word, that is not together, that has not been delivered of some of these different things that cause abuse and bring all these negative things about, because marriage is about kingdom purposes, the purposes of God. So whenever you start to hear all these different things, you really have to take a step back and examine yourself and examine what was being presented to you, so you can correct and make that adjustment. And adjustments can definitely be made. Okay. Hope is definitely, I want you all to hear the hope also that's in this. If you're in a situation now, you may be addicted to drugs, alcohol, sex, anything. Know that God can heal you. Know that God loves you. Know that there is help, support, and resources for you. But you have to be able to recognize what's in you, and that, one, you need the Lord, period. Give your life to Jesus Christ. And also that you need help and that you need deliverance and that it's available to you. Because without it, it's going to lead down a dangerous road that you may not come back from. Okay. And we saw that in the movie. So it's time for people, don't blame Bobby Brown, because it was already in Whitney, period. You just probably saw more of his wild behavior than her. But it was still that rebellious nature that she operated in, again, in the movie, that still facilitated all of that, that still allowed for all of that. So definitely wanted to make a note of that. Next up, if you never heal, you will usher in basically destruction to the next generation. This is very important to understand and know, because a lot of times you'll hear one generation saying, man, the kids today, this generation, I don't know what's going on with them. But guess what? It was in your generation too. Because if it was not, the generation after you would be fine. So you have to look at, where did your generation drop the ball at? Let me see here for a minute. I know that seems really harsh, but it's so real. Where did your generation drop the ball at? What did y'all overlook? Or what didn't you all pass down? Was it that the word of God was not passed down? Was it that healthy marriage was not seen and passed down? Was it that healthy conversations wasn't passed down? Was it that abuse was allowed and covered up? Was that passed down? Was the lack of therapy and healing, is that what was passed down? These things are generational. Nothing appears and pops up out of the blue. There is nothing new under the sun. It is very much about what has been left unchecked and unhealed. And again, if you don't check it, you usher it. It's automatic. It's like it's in the DNA, right down to the next generation. Let's go to the movie. So there was a portion of the movie where Whitney was talking to Clive Davis. And, you know, she was talking about Bobby Christina and all of that and being on tour. And she made mention to him that she sees everything, right? The little girl sees everything. And if you've seen any of the other remakes or even a Bobby Christina movie, what she saw in her home, what she heard from her parents, what she saw in her parents, their behavior, all of that. Because as you know, both Whitney and Bobby Christina are gone. They're both dead. And both died in pretty much the exact same way. If that's not a generational curse of not only premature death, addiction, grief, hurt, I don't know what is. Okay? Died the exact same way, about 3 years apart. You have to pay attention to that. Again, unhealed generational trauma that's constantly getting passed down can get worse by the generation because it's more amplified, it's more demons being attached to it, right? And it just continues to go on and on and on and on. Okay? And now you have two people who are gone, two of their family members that they've had to, and I'm pretty sure still grieve because it was literally ushered into an entirely different generation. The rebellion ushered into an entirely different and new generation. The drug addiction totally ushered in to an entirely different generation. You have to take note of these things. You can't sit back and act like you don't see it. And yeah, you can try to get help, you can say all that, but you have to deal with the roots. And you have to be very serious about your walk with the Lord and getting the help that you need and getting the deliverance that you need too. So I want to say that as well, because generational curses are very real. These generational patterns are very real. And if it's not taken care of and dealt with at the root, then you just really gonna continue to see a mess on your hands. Nothing should come as a surprise. I believe that when it does come as a surprise, it's because no one has taken the time to be honest with themselves, be honest about their family, be honest about what has happened, be honest about these different patterns or anything like that. You have to be honest. And you have to be willing to make a change. You have to be willing to apologize to your children. You have to be willing to repent to your children from bad behavior, for speaking word curses, speaking critically, unnecessary things, doing unnecessary things, allowing unnecessary things, harmful things, abusive things. You have to, you must, because kids will continue, unless it's checked and healed, kids will continue to grow up with all of that hurt, pain, and trauma. And with hurt, pain, and trauma, they're going to try to find a way to fix it, to heal it. The thing is that a lot of times they're going to find an unhealthy method. Why? Because it was demonstrated before them. Unhealthy methods of handling conflict, of handling pain. From we don't talk about it, we sweep it under the rug, to we drink around here, we fight around here, we do drugs around here, we get in gangs around here, we go to jail around here. Whatever that is, the unhealthy and toxic patterns must stop, and it stops with you watching this video. Okay? So very important. The next lesson, and this is a great one, more on a lighter note. It is a blessing when you can work with your family and it goes well in business and life. So in the movie, we all know about Pat Houston and how she was able to take over. And I believe even now she's over the Houston estate, but really just able to help out, come in and manage and be that voice of reason in both Whitney's life and also Bobby Christina's before she passed away. All of that, she was able to help her with business. She was right there by Whitney's side. When you have people like that who will ride and live for you. I don't like to call people ride or die because we're not trying to die around here. We're not doing that. I believe in speaking life. So she was there for her. She loved Whitney and Bobby Christina to life. And it was very apparent. So when you have those healthy relationships, you have those healthy relatives that can be there, that can help you, cherish that and treasure that. A lot of times people say, oh, you can't work with your family. No, you can't work with unhealthy family members. You can't work with manipulative family members. You can't work with family members who aren't willing to listen and be humbled and do right. That's who you can't work with. But if you have people who are submitted to the Lord, they really care about you, they have great work ethic, you all are able to communicate well, you're able to continue to grow and learn, you can totally continue to work together. And Pat Houston was with both of them until the very end. So that's another lesson, from the movie. So I want to say that. And the last lesson that I want to say from this movie, which is encouraging, is that there is always hope. There is hope until it's over. Okay? It is hope until it's over. And somebody needs to hear that right now. Because you may be feeling that you've done too much, you've experienced too much, your family members have done too much, seen too much, been through too much. But I'm here to tell you that Jesus Christ can change and save your life for real, to where you don't ever have to go back to an addiction. He can break that thing up off of you. He can break depression up off of you. He can give you the support that you need in the natural and spiritually, where you won't ever have to go back to an addiction or a bad habit. You won't have to. I have testimonies. I know testimonies of people who were totally addicted to drugs and are totally free now and living and are happily married and have children and all of that. So it can be done. A lot of times we think that it can't because no one in your family has done it, or your family is the root cause of your pain. But I'm here to tell you that it can be done. There is hope for you. Jesus Christ loves you so much, and there are so many resources out here for you. It is that pain, that root of that pain, that the word of God can totally take an axe to, that you can be healed, delivered, and set free from, where again, you won't need a drug. You won't need to be promiscuous anymore. You won't need to lie or manipulate anymore. You won't have to live out these deadly, dangerous habits or anything like that to feel good about yourself, to feel to help you get through the day. Because even at the end of the day in the movie, as she was doing drugs and all of that, it didn't help make her life better. It made it worse in the movie. She had to sneak around. Even the way the dude brought her the pen of drugs, hiding it, right? It didn't make her life better. It contributed to her downfall in the movie. Okay? It contributed to her downfall. It contributed to her demise, where there was healing that I wish and pray, I'll say pray, not even wish, pray could have happened on such a deep level to where she really could have been healed, transformed, delivered, and set free. That would have been my prayer. Because pain and hurt and lack of acceptance, lack of security, abuse, all these different things have people turning every which kind of way but to God. But God is a healer. He's a deliverer. Jesus came to set the captives free. He can help you. You don't have to live that life anymore. You can come out of fear. You can come out of rejection. You can come out of abandonment. You can come out of abuse. You can come out of narc abuse. You can come out of church hurt and abuse. You can come out of leader abuse. You can come out of betrayal. You can come out of heartbreak, heartache, all these different kind of things, abortions that you didn't want. You can come out of any type of childhood trauma. You can come out of any type of pain with Jesus Christ. Suicide ideation, all of that. There is freedom and victory in Jesus. I want you to know that watching this video. Please make sure that you share, because somebody doesn't have hope. Somebody is blaming themselves for where they are at right now and think that God does not love them and think that they have to remain in a dark place. But I call you out now of that place in Jesus' name. You can come out of that dark place. Jesus can save and change your life. The Bible declares that all who call on the name of the Lord shall be saved. The Bible declares, for God so loved the world that he sent his one and only begotten son, that whosoever believes in him will not perish, but will have everlasting life. God is here for you. He loves you. He can transfer you over from the kingdom of darkness into the kingdom of light. And so I wanted to jump on and I wanted to share these lessons from this movie because it's so real. It's such a tear jerker, but it's really real as to people's lives and what they have gone through and what people are going through now. So I encourage you, as you watch the movie or you go back to watch it again, learn these lessons. Learn these lessons from her life or what was being shown to us. Learn the lessons from your family's life. Thank you so much, Live Life Free, for saying this is so good. Please make sure you share this. Learn these lessons so healing can occur in your family. These generational curses and patterns, these bad ones, do not have to continue. You can have generational blessings. You can have generational wealth. You can have a family who loves God. You can have a family who is kind, a family who reaches others for Christ, who continue to help others and just be a blessing in the earth. We can have that. We can experience that. Okay. So it's possible. You don't have to believe or continue to buy into the lie that everyone in my family has to be broke and poor. Stop speaking that over yourself, that everyone has to live this way, in these bad ways, in these addictions, and just accept it as normal. No, that everyone has to have these different mental illnesses and issues going on, and the spirit of infirmity and the spirit of fear going on, irrational fear, fear of moving forward, all of that. The devil is a liar. You can change the trajectory of your life tonight. Give your life to Jesus. You can change the trajectory of your family. Give your life to Jesus Christ and start sharing him with them. Allow them to see the transformation of God in your life. Go through deliverance, go through healing, and receive all that God has for you, because he has a purpose and a plan for your life. He loves you. And so I hope that you enjoy these lessons from the Whitney Houston movie. I'm going to run them down one more time, just as I am wrapping up. Definitely share this. Feel free to leave a comment. Definitely keep your comments respectful. I definitely have so much respect for the family. I pray for them even to this day. I prayed for them back then. I prayed for Whitney Houston back then. I prayed for her daughter back then. So this is no shade or anything like that, because the situation is just so tragic. I never mocked them. I still don't. And I don't like when other people mock them, because it's just a serious, tragic situation that could happen to anyone, really, if you get caught up in that. So I just want to say that. So I continue to pray for them. So again, running down the lessons from the I Want to Dance with Somebody Whitney Houston movie. 1, what parents say can empower their child or a teen, or it can tear them down, because we're talking about the foundation of home. Okay. Number 2, arguing parents, constantly conflict, cussing one another out, which is a very disrespectful way to talk to one another, to talk to people, actually. It upsets kids. It upsets teens. They hear it, they see it, and they learn what behaviors to accept in relationships, in marriage, and in life by what the parents do, or the lack thereof. Okay? Next lesson. At our low points in life, whoever or whatever affirms us best wins. Okay, if that's positive or negative, keep that in mind. Next, you can love your family, you can love your parents, and still have boundaries. And everyone needs to have boundaries. And everyone really does when you think about it. A boundary is, you wouldn't let somebody just come up and punch you in your face out of the blue. That's a boundary. It's a certain way that you like to be treated. Okay, so boundaries is not a bad word. Next, love has to start at home. with the parents. It has to start there. A healthy home, healthy parents. Very important, because when that love, safety, security, and health is not there, that love is not there, the child, the teen, will be on a desperate and a rebellious search to find love, to ensure it, and to hold on to it. And most of the time, it's not going to be healthy. It's not going to be good. Next lesson. You hang out with and you marry what's in you. Very important. What's on the inside of you, because you attract and you marry on the level that you are at, period. If it's any type of crack, you might not be the exact same as that person, but if there's any unhealed trauma, any unchecked space, that's what's going to speak out for you when it comes to an unhealthy relationship. So that was that lesson. Next, if you never heal, you will destruct and you will usher destruction into the next generation. It's a lot of different ways that can look like. Okay, so remember, you will bring it automatically into the next generation. You can't help it because it's in you, because it's unhealed and it's unchecked. All right, so get your healing. Next up, it's a blessing when you can work with your family, and they are great to work with. When you can do business, that's such a blessing. Okay, and the last lesson was, there is hope until it's finally over. Okay, so until you leave this earth, until you leave this planet, there is hope for you to have a better life. There is hope and a chance for you to give your life over to Jesus Christ so you can have and experience freedom and a better life. Okay, so thank you so much for tuning in. Again, my name is Ashley. I will be doing vlogging about different things in life, movies. I'm gonna be sharing food, different things like that. So make sure you hit that subscribe button. I'll definitely pay attention and take a look at your comments. Definitely keep them respectful. All right. Have a good evening, and I'll see you next time. Bye.